All right, so hearing, we're learning the ear. In regards to the ear, you need to know we've got the concept of how we hear. How do we see? We see through what? Light. We hear through waves. You see through light, you hear through waves. You hear through waves which are called airborne waves. Okay, sound waves are airborne waves. Sound waves are airborne waves. So we look at sound in the aspect of an airborne wave. Now, the wave has two concepts to it. It's either the pitch or the loudness. Pitch is literally the frequency of the wave. Loudness is the height of the wave. Pitch is the frequency of the wave. Loudness is the height of the wave. Okay? Pitch is the frequency. Height of the wave is the loudness. Now, let's go through the structure of the ear. So we've got this airborne wave that comes into, or what we call a sound wave, into the ear. The outer part of your ear, or the external part of the ear that you actually grab is also called the pinna. The pinna is the external part of the ear. It is created and shaped as a funnel, to actual funnel to create this sound effect to where it catches the sound and then funnels the sound into the ear. Okay, so the pinna is the outside of the ear. It's called the pinna in a funnel shape device. If someone tells you a secret, what do you do to your ear? You cup it. You cup it so that you can create more of a funnel so you can catch the airway to filter inside. So everybody got the outside. All right, the pinna then sends the information into what is called the auditory canal. So the sound wave comes from the pinna, bounces off the pinna, enters into the auditory canal. The auditory canal then flows the information or the wave to what we call the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. Okay? The sound bounces off the eardrum and vibrates the three smallest bones in your body. There's some test, I don't know if it's your exam this time or your final exam, but it literally asks you, what are the three smallest bones in your body? You're going to answer the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup. They are the three smallest bones in your body. They actually vibrate. The anvil, the stirrup, and the hammer. Three smallest bones in your body. Auditory canal actually bounces sound or the wave off the tympanic membrane or the eardrum. Then vibrates the hammer, anvil, and stirrup. It then sends through the canal into the cochlea. The cochlea is filled with fluid. So the airborne wave now becomes a seaborne wave. The airborne wave now becomes a seaborne wave. The cochlea is filled with a fluid that the airborne wave now becomes a seaborne wave. Yeah. Hammer. Moves into the cochlea for processing. The cochlea is filled with fluid. The airborne wave now becomes a seaborne wave, like the sea. The cochlea processes. The cochlea actually has what's called the basilar membrane in it. I think that's in your book. Is it? If not, here it is right here. The basilar membrane is actually in the lining of the cochlea. It helps in the processing. Okay? Once it processes, it sends it to the auditory nerve. Now this is going to be a flashback from the last week. Well, today is the same week. Thursday from Tuesday. What occurs in the auditory nerve for the brain to understand this information? What is the process called? Transduction. And it's done by which part of the brain? Thank you. The thalamus. So transduction is occurred with the auditory nerve, done by the thalamus so that the brain can process the now seaborne wave. From all of the nerves. Correct. So what actually happens is it changes its energy. That's what we kind of use the term, the energy changes. So let's just use the ear for instance. The ear brings up an airborne, seaborne wave. The brain can't use it. The thalamus then switches the energy to energy and a stimulus and a neural impulse that the brain can actually regulate. The brain then sends the message back to the thalamus. It switches it back to an airborne, seaborne message to understand what was just heard. What'd you say, Amy? To a neural, the thymus switches it to a neural type of impulse that the brain can regulate, like, oh, that was the sound of my mom's voice. Yeah. And part of it is based on experience, memory, and sound. All right. Now, remember back in kindergarten, you learned that song. Um, the toes are connected to the. Did you learn that song? You guys, you didn't do kindergarten like that? All right. Remember, did everybody learn head, shoulders, knees, and toes? You learned that? Okay. Well, back in my day, we had I think the toes was connected to the foot bone. The foot bone's connected to the ankle bone. Y'all didn't learn that? Remember that? Okay. You just don't remember it? Okay. Um, it's coming back. Good. Because we're about to make this into that. Okay? All right. So everybody get ready. Okay. Now, if you would like. Okay. The reason why is because guess what happens when you put it to music? You remember it. Exactly. That's why you still sing it when somebody says, say your ABCs. And you be like, A, B, C. I still say them. And you like, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You still not saying it. You're singing it. So music just works. That's why you sing in the car for songs you don't mean to remember. That's why they put jingles to McDonald's to a song. Yeah, because you loving it. All right, so let's try this. So the penis connected to the. See, y'all not into it. We kindergartners here. Let's try this again. You get excited. You know, you are my sunshine, my little sunshine. You learned that song. All right, so the penis connected to the. What'd you say? It does. All right, let's try one more time. The penis connected to the auditory connected to the. See how it works? Come on now, get with it, because you're gonna be sitting in that test talking about something. Penis connected to my. And you're gonna be surprised why you know these things. All right, so penis connected to the auditory connected to the eardrum bounces off the. That might not work, but all right. Then it's processes in the, and then it's sent to the, where what is done by the. Got it? No. Okay, it's for real too? All right. All right, the penis connected to the auditory canal bounces off the eardrum sends it to the, then processed in the, and then sent to the, which what is done by the. Got it? When y'all get home and you be singing it, don't say nothing. You can be like, I love she should do that to all the material. All right. Now, in case you don't realize, YouTube, the founders of psychology, there's actually a rap song, a jazz song, a country song. They will actually sing you all the founders and what they did. Yeah. So trust me, music helps. So if you can't remember the founders, play the song. It just helps you. All right, now let's understand what happens in all of this. So if you have an individual that cannot hear, we have different types. We have what's called conduct deafness and nerve deafness. Two totally different aspects, but two totally different, but same type of problem. Now, first thing we talk about are hard of hearing people. Hard of hearing actually have hearing capabilities. They wear a hearing aid because all parts of the ear still work. Okay? Conduct deafness is kind of like the milder type of deafness. And I think we talk about it here. Nerve deafness. Right? It's more severe. Yeah. Nerve deafness is complete deafness. Conduct deafness is kind of more hard of hearing. It literally means the sound is not being conducted through the canal or parts of the ear correctly. So we go back to your ear. You've got conduct deafness and nerve deafness. You need to know the difference. When we talk about conduct deafness, no, it's a problem with the vibration. Conduct deafness, there's a problem with the vibration of the bones to where information is not sent to the cochlea. There's problems with the vibration with the three smallest bones, and the information is not processed in the cochlea. In this, you can actually have, some people have a surgery where they just actually give an artificial bone replacement, and then hearing can be restored. That's a little bit different. The cochlear implant is usually a complete deafness, which is usually a nerve deafness. That's usually done because there's a problem with the auditory cortex. So once the auditory cortex is damaged inside the cochlea, we now have to replant and give an implantation for the cochlea. You can hear, but the problem is it's based on a computer program. So the computer program actually, what happens is they give you the implant. So if you have nerve damage or nerve deafness, inside of the cochlea you have what is called an auditory cortex. In this you have the processing. If it's damaged, it means this whole cochlea is not working. So you're not taking the airborne into seaborne. It's not even being processed. So what they do is they give you the implant on the outside of the head. The problem is it's then drilled into your skull and then it's filtered into the cochlea device. So you're still hearing this air part, but then the cochlea is actually processing to where the nerve can hear it. The problem is the computer system then has to identify at what point do you hear in this. So we might have to regulate it and kind of keep doing things. A person that's never heard before kind of can't understand still what they hear. So when they hear sound, they've always recognized a word differently because they never heard it. They just recognize your mouth movement. So the sound that they hear here doesn't match your mouth movement. So sometimes they still talk with a different type of sound because this is not matching what I've always known it to be. Because literally, let's just say, for instance, people living down south versus up north, we hear the same word, but we hear it differently. So all of a sudden, if I can hear I can hear you down south, but I've always heard up north. When we combine them, it's going to take me a minute to process that these are the same words. It's kind of like that feeling for them, but you have to imagine they've never heard anything. They feel the vibration, so they get the air, they've got that, but they don't get the C part. So this is why they can listen to music. They feel the vibration, but they don't get the processing. So because they don't get the processing, they don't hear. The auditory cortex is actually inside, it's a processing. It's still part of your processing. Mm-hmm. All that. You need to know the difference between, let's go here, Gina. So you have the words here. You need to know the difference between nerve deafness and conduction deafness, or what we call conduct deafness. Mm-hmm. There you go. And with the with the conduction deafness, we replace the bones. With nerve deafness, we'll probably replace the cochlea. The conduction, we're going to give you artificial bone replacement. Nerve deafness, the cochlea is going to probably be replaced. They can replace the cochlea. A lot of people don't like it. Yeah, I've worked with the deaf community before. My major in my bachelor's was going to be in American Sign Language, so I did that as a minor. And working with the deaf community, they feel they are a community. They do not need hearing because they feel they have the language. The hearing community has now imposed on them saying something's wrong with you because you're not like us. So in an effort to make you like us, we're going to create a device for you. They don't like that. So usually inside the community, they're fine being a deaf community because they have activities, they have schools, they have programs. Yeah, they don't like, yeah, it's literally like you're an outsider coming into their community because they speak with each other just fine. They literally have gestures, they have sign language is based on expression. So literally as you're signing based on my expression. We communicate just fine. They communicate with you by reading your lips. They're fine with that. It's us who feel as hearing that say, oh my God, how are you living without hearing? Let us help you hear. Yeah, and they're like, we're fine. We all talk to each other just fine. He's reading you. What happens, like when we talk, for example, yesterday, I'm not a cursor. I just don't curse. It's just very rarely. If I curse, you know I'm really mad. I just don't do it. But when I'm mad, my curse words are my hands. So if I'm angry and I'm really mad, I'll literally be like, look, which I'm probably saying another curse word. I'm tired. I'm probably saying a curse word. We're not going to keep doing this. I'm saying a curse word. So yesterday, my boyfriend is a curse. He cuss. Ooh, my, does he cuss like we're realizing? So we're having a discussion and he's using curse words and I'm using, and he says, what's wrong with your hand? You got carpal tunnel? I'm like, no. Every time this is my curse word that I'm not saying. So to a deaf person, this is all, they understand these things. And when you, imagine when you get mad, what does your face do? Body language is literally 70% of your communication. They're using body language and their hand. Why do they need to speak? Oh, yes. Yes. Um, yeah. They literally like, they go fast to where you be like, again, 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 slow it down, again, again. And you like, I don't understand, I don't understand. And you're like, you at that point you just like, let me grab a word while they're going. And you like, okay, because you can't, because they're just, I mean, and their face is just like, I mean, they're going and they're passionate about it. And you just like, oh, hell, darn it, I just missed that whole conversation. And then they're like, and you like, no, no, no. You're like, I'm just sorry, I missed it. But you just learn. She faked that. Hmm. She feels the vibration. Understand? Yes. Um, if you ever watched the Ray Charles movie, Ray Charles told you in the movie, just be quiet for a minute, close your eyes and be quiet. You literally, as a blind person, you intensify your hearing. You just hear things more. But if you just one day in the car, close your eyes when you close your eyes. I don't want people to be like, this is the part of Dr. Mercy said, close your eyes. Like, no, don't do that. But when you get home, when you get in the driveway and it's your song on, close your eyes and just see, you can feel the music. It's just something that music gives a vibration, and that's what they feel. They know how to play instruments. Yeah, yeah. Because what they hear is not, remember, they're hearing different words. Their idea is that the word you're saying matches your lip movement. So based on what your lips say, I've got to then give you words and sound to your lip movement, but yet I've never heard what it sounds like. So when I speak, well, because in sign language we don't do and for everything, because it's like I'm not and in every, I don't sign every word. So when I speak, just like if you with Spanish, Spanish doesn't use exactly. If we translated Spanish exactly to English, it'd be some screwed up communication. Same as sign language. English use too many words. We just, and I'm gonna send you a message, Tia. Do you want me to grade this in Spanish, Portuguese, or sign language? Because I'm gonna send you a. So, all All right, so guys, everybody get that, right? We got processing. All right. Now, in regards to the ear, I'm going to show you how amazing this ear thing is. It's really fascinating. There are certain things that you do need two ears for. Dichotic hearing, you need both ears for it. What you need both ears for, you actually need both ears to differentiate loudness. Okay? You need both ears to differentiate loudness, but only one ear to locate sound. Both ears to change in regards to identifying a difference in loudness, one ear to locate sound. You just kind of like, you're like, wait a minute, do I hear it? And you, that dominant ear, the one ear that's really, really good, you're kind of like straight. It only takes one ear. But now when somebody changes the volume, you're like, did I hear that? Because now we need both ears. Locate sound, one ear. Volume, both ears. Locating sound and locating, ooh, shit, it does say both. You only need difference in loudness, two ears. Locate sound, one ear. Yeah, code universe, locate sound. I'm like, where are you seeing? No, it doesn't. Oh, yeah, okay. This is my multitasking slide. I sent an email to my boss yesterday while I was trying to do 3 things at one time. And I went back and read it like, oh my. Let me apologize for my email. Like, all right, cocktail party phenomenon. You all do this. This is when the ear picks up 2 conversations. The ear picks up 2 conversations. You probably call it eavesdropping. It's not. It's actually an automatic response. The ear picks up 2 conversations. If you've ever been in a restaurant, you having a conversation to the person in front of you, and you can hear everything that happened behind you. Next time they do it, just say, no, I'm dichotic listening, called the cocktail party phenomena. I am not nosy. You can't do that, Tia. That is nosy. Okay. Dichotic listening. I'm listening to 2 conversations. I actually can process the second conversation. I am doing what's called cocktail party phenomena. If you ever go into any environment, there is a catch with this. The person that gives you the most emotion is the actual conversation you'll always tune into first. So if you're in a party, you're with your significant other, and somebody's having a conversation with you, the minute your significant other starts to have a communication, you're going to hear their conversation the loudest. It just triggers an emotion. Okay? Now, listening lasts the longest. It's one of the senses that lasts the longest. If you hear it, it lasts longer in memory than anything else. Right? Listening is the sense that lasts the longest. Listening lasts the longest in regards to memory. This is why we tell people, read out loud. It lasts longer than you reading silently. Because the eye does not read every word. Okay? The eye doesn't read every word. Now, you probably still don't. Everybody's got that riddle from Facebook where it was all the words were jumbled up and you could read the entire thing. Because it's the first letter and the last letter. Everything else in the middle doesn't mean anything. And you actually read sentences like this. You don't read. How many times has a parent called you and they called your name and you said, huh? They told you to do something. You said, what'd you say? And your mom says, if you hum me, you heard me. And then she says, I'm not going to repeat myself. In some kind of way, she did not repeat herself, but you heard what she told you to go get. She said, bring my keys down. You said, huh? If you you heard me. You said that for a minute and you said, I think she said, bring her keys down. Because you're actually going to pick up the sound even when you did not process it. It just automatically happens. Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's just literally, yeah. I really do. I'm hoping she come and get them herself type of thing. You also have selective hearing. Uh, yeah, selective hearing, parents do it very well. Mama, 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 mama. Mary, what did you just call me? You like, God, I've been calling you for 5 minutes. Mama, you didn't listen to me. I call you by your first name. You want to respond. Selective hearing. We all do it. It's just something you do. Okay. In regards to olfactory, now move to the nose. The olfactory system is the nose. Anything dealing with olfactory represents nose. We have what's called the olfactory bulb. That is the manufacturing part in the nose that recognizes what we consider odor. Odor to us is smell. Okay? In layman terms, odor has become a bad thing, but odor is actually smell. Food have an odor, you have an odor, garbage has an odor, flowers have an odor. Odor is literally translated to the word smell. The olfactory bulb has the ability to recognize all smell. Okay, inside of your smelling component, you have receptors. They kind of like fit like keys. They smell something, they open something. They smell something, they open something. Just like memory, emotions. You smell certain things, it opens a feeling. You smell certain things, it opens a desire. You smell something things, it releases a hormone. You have this idea that these receptors actually generate some type of open lock key thing inside of your brain. Now, what you're describing, which is very important, taste is represented by smell. If you smell it, you can actually taste it. Your smell triggers. Yes. Yes. And also, if you get rid of smell, you won't taste. Have a cold and congestion, you'll eat and you'll keep saying everything tastes so funny because you're not tasting anything because you got rid of your ability to smell it. Odor then intensifies your ability to taste. If you ever want to eat something and not taste it, close your nose and eat it. Yeah, because you take away the smell. But the minute that you do like this, you will taste any residue that's left. It does as long as you remember the minute you go like this, it comes back. You have to wash the residue off. Like when we do it for kids to take medication, just say, pinch your nose, swallow this. When they take their nose and undo it, it's going to be all that residue on the tongue. They're going to tell you it's nasty. Wash the tongue off before they take the nose off. Drink something that they like, and they'll never taste the medication. If you want to eat some vegetables this weekend, put them on there. Don't smell them, because the minute you smell them psychologically, you're going to taste them. Okay? If you ever walk past Krispy Kreme donuts, and you just be like, you could taste the donut. Now, pheromones. This is probably the nasty part. Unfortunately, we are kind of created like dogs. Okay? We smell pheromones. We smell pheromones in an effort to reproduce. Now, there are two different types of smells in regards to men versus females. Females actually smell and recognize sweat and urine. Sorry. Female, females recognize sweat and urine. It actually triggers a hormone in you to become sexually excited. Yeah, I don't want to try that yet. Like, I don't want to experiment on that. Um, one one mother, it had to take a mother who said, maybe because we have to identify when our child has pooped and peed on themselves, that we can identify it faster than the father can. I don't know why we smell urine, but we do. Um, to intensify sexual desire. Men actually smell ovulation and menstrual cycle. During your ovulation time, he is actually smelling your pheromones at a higher producing rate. He becomes attracted to you more during that time of the month. So literally when you produce your ovulation time, which is 10 to 14 days after your menstrual cycle, the day of it, you actually give off a higher level of pheromones as a woman. He then becomes sexually attracted to you more during that time than any other time of the month. Okay? He is like a, yeah. Pheromones are released through your skin. It's a hormone. Now, the sexual industry has found this out. So they have now bottled pheromones and pheromone enhancers to where now you can actually put it on you and it releases an increase in your pheromone production. It's a small little bottle. You dab it on. When you dab it on, you actually release your own pheromone smell more and more. A lot of places now, Victoria's Secret and all these places now have to say, it literally tells you it's a pheromone enhancer, which means you will start to enhance your own natural smell. Everybody in here has a smell that they release. Your significant other has now become attached and notices your pheromone smell. You just don't know it because you're adapted to it. Like right now, you're releasing a pheromone. It's literally your partner smells you, just like everybody here. If you got a significant, no, you're not just gonna be walking around and all the men gonna be like, "Oh my God, Gina, I want you." You don't. It's kind of like you've got to already have an attraction to that pheromone smell. It's kind of like a sex toy. It does really work. And as a matter of fact, you'll be in the bathroom kissing yourself. Literally, I put it on. I was like, "Dang, I smell so good." Oh, Cherie. Oh, you're beautiful. It smells really, really, really good, but it just fades. But your pheromones, everybody here has been in a relationship. You knew when your partner came around because it was just a scent that they gave off that you knew. They've been in this room. They've been here. They give off a smell that you've now recognized. You're now attracted to that smell, that when you smell it, you're attracted to the scent. The pheromone, that is a pheromone scent. So the enhancer just makes you more attractive. Yeah, it's not, no. Fit. Yeah. Fit. Yeah. The finest, I think it's called Fit and Finest or something like Fittest and Finest, something like that. It's supposed to for you to say, "This is perfect for us." Yeah. Your brain's supposed to, because I know a couple of people who are in relationships, the brain should have said, "This is not for you." But the brain is supposed to recognize this is a perfect match. We can reproduce great here. Grab this. It's a scent. It's almost. But remember, we've got scent plus environmental influence. So you've got scent plus her hips are wide. That's how men actually pick their mate. They did a study that said, what was it that drew men to women and women to men unconsciously? In regards to a woman, she is actually more drawn to the width of a man's shoulders. The wider his shoulders, the more attractive he is to her. The reason why is he gives her a sense of comfort and support and protection. It's done in the idea of the upside triangle. So the more she gets this, she feels safer in regards to who she is. He also understands this, so whenever he feels like his territory is being challenged, if you ever notice, a man will actually broaden and move up unconsciously if he ever feels somebody is coming towards him or questioning his woman. So if he's like this, he'll walk like this. The minute he feels someone's coming, he'll just stand up in an effort to widen this area to show a protection. He does it unconsciously. Yeah, he just does it. They don't know it. It's just they'll be standing and a man will come towards him, and all of a sudden he'll just move up. And the minute that he walks away, the competition walks away, he'll just come back down. He doesn't even know he's done. It's just something he does. It's almost like it's territorial. And it's literally like the bear, lion, come, let me show you, I'm protecting her. And when he's gone, I'm done. Yeah, now if he don't do this means he technically don't. Yeah, he kind of like, it's kind of, they will get it once they get cocky to where it's like, you ain't going nowhere, so I don't need to. But if they feel intimidation from the man coming, they will do it just to assert their authority. They'll also place one step in front of you. They create one small step in front of you to show you are the protected. That's why they do it. And if somebody comes, you just see them step one small. It's not to where they're going to do this. It's just a small step to where they want to show your foot is here. Theirs is going to be slightly ahead. Now, as a woman, men are actually attracted to the sway of your hips. So unconsciously, when you are attracted to a man, you will sway your hips more at the time that he's approaching in an effort to draw his attention. It's unconsciously done. And ever watch, Tia, don't hurt yourself. Don't ever watch teenagers at a mall, and all of a sudden it's a group of girls and a boy approaches, watch how all of a sudden they'll start moving faster in regards to their hip sway, not realizing it's an attraction getter, and they do it unconsciously. This is why when you wear heels, what happens more and more, you sway more in an effort to draw more of an attention, and it's an unconscious done. Yeah. It makes you move. Yeah, it moves a lot, a lot, and some people jiggle. Got it? All unconsciously. Olfactory bulb is actually the system in which you smell. Done with the nose? Good. Chemical senses? Those are hormones. Now we move to the tongue. With the nose, you actually smell it. Like it's actually an intensifier. Matter of fact, there you go. Correct. Once you smell, you actually intensify your production of hormonal chemicals. Um, Say, for instance, lavender is a good one. Lavender is a smell that intensifies serotonin production in regards to being sleepy. So literally, if you have a problem sleeping, place lavender around you. The nose smells it, creates a chemical sense to actually release serotonin and dopamine for you to sleep better. If you look at the baby lotion, it literally says lavender scent because when you put it on, it actually intensifies a chemical release for you to sleep. hmm I'm not even gonna go there. Taste buds. Now, taste buds are some of the most fascinating things in regards to the tongue. Now, first we need to know is smell affects the taste. Okay? You only have four sense of taste. Sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. Sweet and fatty kind of go together. So your sweet and fatty go together. I hope I'm spelling that right. I just want to make sure I give you guys the right spelling. The which one? The olfactory bulb is actually the place that you actually stimulate smell. It's your system. All right. In regards to taste, sweet, sour, salty, fatty slash, and then bitter. So on this tongue, this actually means fatty. Okay? So umami actually means fatty. It goes with the sweet. Right? In regards to your taste buds are actually more sophisticated in children than they are in adults. Children's taste buds are actually better than adults. Why do you think this is so? Why can a child taste better than an adult? New, smell better, more. What else? Of worse. Okay. They haven't been burnt. Okay. It's literally all those things. They also haven't adapted. So they haven't been burnt. They haven't been bruised. They have more. It's more pure. So literally when they taste things, it's in its purest form. Compared to you, you've adapted to the form. Does that make sense? Remember we talked about adaptation in the beginning. All your senses adapt to taste. Let's just think of broccoli. What does broccoli taste like? Grass. Depends on how you cook it. Just straight broccoli. If we went to the grocery store, snatched it off the shelf, and just, what does it taste like? Chemical, chemicals, bitter. You like it with cheese. It probably does taste like some trees, grass. I never ate grass as far as I can recall. I probably did one day, but it's probably. I think so. That's why I probably had grass sandwiches and pies. But when you bit into it, how many of you eat broccoli on a daily? You just like broccoli. So what are you eating? You don't even know what you're eating, huh? What does chicken taste like? Chicken. Frog legs. What do they taste like? Chicken. See what's problem is? That's the problem. Frog legs. Chicken. What's it taste like? Chicken. Is it chicken? No. Okay. Well, what does chicken taste like? Technically, chicken doesn't have a taste. It's the seasoning you put on it that gives it taste. Try to eat some chicken with no seasoning on it. It just tastes like, yeah. Give it to a child. Guess what your child is going to tell you? Give them some broccoli. Guess what they're going to say? This nasty. And you're going to say, no, it's not. It's good. No, it's not. It really is nasty. You eat your burnt food. You eat your non-cooked food. You eat your food you didn't season. You eat all of that stuff. Give it to a child. They're going to tell you the truth because their taste palette is pure. Understand, oftentimes children don't eat food always because it tastes good. It's also fun, which is why SpaghettiOs were fun. They had shapes. They had figures. They had, if you look at the can, it's really technically a playground. Yeah, it's action figures. We could play with it. Did you really? Oh my. If you ever go eat baby food right now, it is very disgusting. Um, the reason why the sweet parts, sweet is the first taste you actually have. Actually, breast milk, the first, they call it colostrum. Colostrum is the first milk that comes out of the breast. It is a very sweet taste because sweet is the first taste a child actually recognizes. So the sweet probably tastes better just because it is the first developing taste bud. But I'm not, I'm good. Once you mish it off, I'm good. Every 7 years. Hmm. Hmm. Everything, your body changes every 7 years. Yeah. When you figure that out, you let me know so I can go and get to that age. Unfortunately, once you hit a certain age, the 7 years change to where you don't lose weight. It's also because you've actually now been reformed. We call it a filter approach. What starts to happen in a child's life is this: purest form, we're changing them, we're changing them. School time, it's over. We even do this in regards to their experimentation, their excitement. Playground, 2 years old, what will they do? Everything. The minute mommy says, don't do it on that, oh my God, no. Then they get 4. Now they're not going to do everything. They're going to do certain things because mommy said don't do those. You just let your child go and explore? Yes. Because guess what? When they fall, guess what they're going to do? They won't cry if you don't cry. Unless they really hurt themselves, they won't cry. The minute you make eye contact, we're done. And I'm not crying because I'm hurt. I'm crying because you gave me attention. Crying is the purest form of communication. So literally, if I fall and my mom, I look at her like, am I supposed to hurt? And she's like, ah! And I'm going to laugh too. Ha ha, mommy. Okay, I fall, I freeze, and mommy goes, oh my God. And it comes out. Am I hurt? No. Because the minute mommy finishes, guess what I'm about to go do? I'm finishing playing. I'm doing it again. I fell, hit my head, bumped off the table, and rolled a couple of stairs. I then stopped. I look at you, and you like, and I'm like, tell me don't cry, and I'll suck it up. Teach your kids to explore, have fun, bounce up. Trust me, it doesn't hurt them that bad. They've got heads of steel and butts of pads. Okay, that's what diapers are all about. Now, let's get back to this tongue. So you got this tongue. This is how you taste. Now, you only taste on these areas. This type of taste in regards to the buds. The tip of your tongue, which is the sweet and fatty, or what we call umami. This is literally the taste center for sweet products. If you are trying to taste something sweet, you must taste it on the tip of your tongue. Okay? Salty must be tasted on the side of the tongue. So if you're trying to see if a potato chip is salty and you do it on the tip of your tongue, it won't taste salty because your taste buds for salt are not located there. Not until it reaches the taste bud will you actually receive a stimulus. Sour, side back. You've all ate lemons before, Sour Patch Kids. Bite into it and you get that sharp pain that hits right here because you just hit the taste buds of sour. Keep it up here, you won't taste it. The minute you get it here, it's like that sharp pain because the stimulus just hit the taste bud. Because it's the pain, that sharp taste bud just got regenerated. Put it in the middle of the tongue, you're good. It's still going to get there. Yes, it does. That's why they give juices in food. That's why you have saliva. It kind of like mushes it together with the food and spreads this taste over the tongue. So you can taste all of it. Everybody ever heard when people are like, oh, it's like a mouthful of taste? Right, because it's going that way. Okay, next time you eat, just think, right here, it's hitting my sours. Ah, so my salty. Bitters in the back. Bitters in the back. This is why when you take medication, it's fine until it goes down. The minute it starts going down is when it's the worst because it just hit your bitter taste bud. Got it? Technically, no. Which, I've tried it. When I first learned about this, I was like, let me see if this really works. So I tried to place sugar and salt to see where mine actually occurs. Sometimes you might have it come to where it's like here, but right here is nothing. This is why if you ever bit your tongue or something like that, you can still taste even though you damaged the taste buds in that area. If you burn it, exactly. If you burn the tongue, you mean why is it not needed? Just to spread it out. Probably that's just how the tongue is made. I don't know. I have to find that out. I'm gonna find that out. Yeah, I've heard that. Understand that the tongue is the fastest healing organism in your body. So it will heal itself very. Bite it, pierce it, burn it. Watch how fast it heals. It is a fasting healing organism in the body. Yeah, it's a fast. So no, it's fatty. Yes, your fifth sense. Fatty. I don't know. Probably grease. Do you think that tastes fatty? That tastes like it's salty more to me. And what Jonathan is asking a good question. Everybody's taste buds are going to be different in regards to products. So if we think about French fries, some people if you eat a fry and you taste fatty, some of you eat it and taste salty, some of you eat it and taste bitter, because a potato is technically kind of bitter. So it's going to go based on experience as well of what fatty, because I don't eat red meat, so a hamburger would probably taste like pure fat in a jar. I've had before, 20 years ago. So right now it probably tastes like cow in my mouth because it takes too long to process it. It takes 7 days for you to get rid of red meat. So I stopped eating it when I found that out. It takes 7 days for your body to digest red meat. No. It's actually, I mean, protein is always a good thing for you. Yeah. Just not too much, yeah, in high dosage. So when I found that out, I was like, oh. All right, let's move to the next part. This is now the body, okay? The kinesthetic and the vestibular system. So we look at first. The first part, everybody has heard of kinesthetics before, correct? Okay, kinesthetics is literally body and gravity. It's how your body regulates and recognizes gravity. Body recognizes gravity. Body movement and gravity. How your body recognizes and adapts to gravity. The vestibular is more in regards to body position and movement. Body position and movement, mostly your head. Body positioning and movement, mostly your head. In this aspect, we are worried about touch. So we are now talking about which part of the body? The skin. We're on the skin in regards to senses. Skin is recognized by touch. It also regulates temperature. You do have warm and cold receptors in the skin. The skin recognizes and picks up cold receptors as well as warm. It actually identifies them differently, which is why if you put cold ice on you, you actually receive a different stimulus depending on the receptor. So the skin recognizes temperature, and it has two different receptors, warm sense and also cold. We also add the aspect of pain in this category. Pain is a good thing. In psychology, we tell you pain is a good thing. It is a good thing because it's the way the body speaks to the brain. Now, in regards to pain, you have what is called double pain. Double pain contains of two types of pain. The alert and the reminder. The alert and the reminder. The alert is a sudden pain that is very intense. The reminder is a dull pain that is consistent. Double pain. If you've ever had anything hurt, that first initial shock to where it kind of makes you move, that was the first. That was the alert pain. Intense and high. The dull pain is a reminder that it is still something wrong. It's that throbbing. The dull pain is the reminder. Dull pain. Reminder. Consistent. Anybody ever had a backache, toe ache, knee ache, head ache? Okay, you know when it first happens and you're kind of like, ooh, and you kind of like moving, that was the initial, that was the alert, where something's wrong here. Then you feel like it's got a heartbeat. You ever have something hurt and it just feels like it's beating? That's the dull pain, the constant reminder, fix it, fix it, fix it. It's like an alarm clock. Fix it, fix it, fix it. That's considered your double pain. Now, your pain must actually speak to the brain only one way. What do we say, or how do we say the brain speaks to the body? Through the what? Spinal cord. So the spinal cord actually comes from the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system actually is what we call the gate theory of pain. Your body must speak to the spinal cord to receive pain. Without the spinal cord, without the gateway, there is no pain felt. Which is why when you get epidurals, if I block the spinal cord, I block the pain. I can cut you, I can give you a cesarean, I can do all these things, destroy your whole body, you feel nothing. The minute that I reopen the gateway, the pain will start to happen. Does that make sense? If there's a tumor there, a blockage there, fluid there, I can literally stop all pain because I've stopped the gateway of pain. So I now have what is called gate control. I can control pain by stopping here. Very. The reason why, and we talk about, I know when they give you spinal taps and all this other stuff in your back, they literally tell you be very careful because depending on if I rupture the wrong way, I can actually make you paralyzed from that point on. Yes, I don't know if they can do up. I'm sure they can. With medicine today, they can localize. Usually people who have, what usually happens, Gina, and that's a good question, what starts to happen, say we've got an arm we want to repair, I'm going to have to numb you as far as up here to make sure the arm is included in the location. If I just need the legs, I'll probably numb you here to stop everything from that way on. So this still operates because I might ask you questions, but I don't need it to come back up to the brain to recognize the pain. Does that make sense? Did anybody say they tried? Did you order it? Oh, Amy, I was about to say, does it work? Usually some people do that also what is considered a pinched nerve. If I stop, say I want to do surgery on your knee, I can actually localize and pinch the nerve to where the nerve does not resend any neurons in regards to that nerve flow to the spinal cord. So if I stop the function here, all this will work. This won't work because I stopped nerve production and transporting back and forth. So I've stopped all neurons from speaking to any part of the body by literally giving you a local just in your arm. And you literally, they do studies. Emory is a #1 place in Georgia that I've heard. They do a lot of studies. The Emory University is divided into categories. So let's just say we've got a psychological category there. We've got pre-med. Pre-med is divided into oncology, autism. It's literally all divisions. They literally give advertisement. If you suffer from diabetes, call us to participate in this research study. You participate, it's a paid research project. You participate ongoingly, but you then say, I am willing to try all of these different things to see what occurs. They do it for cholesterol, cancer patients, diabetes, hypertension, um, glaucoma, sleep disturbance, sexual desires and behaviors, anything and everything, they cover it. They cover it. But you got to be willing to do it. Sensitivity to touch, you need to know these are the thresholds. We've actually found fingertips are the most sensitive, followed by your upper lip, your cheek, and your nose. The least sensitive area on your body is actually your calf. And we've literally found out the left side and right side, in some areas your left side is more sensitive, and in some areas your right side is more sensitive. Okay? Usually. We don't say every in psychology. Yeah, most. And then you guys talked about ESP. You know, we call that pseudopsychology, so we don't technically believe in it, but it's considered the extra sense if a person has it, but it's pseudo to us, so it's introduced, but that's about it. And that's your chapter 3. You all ready for your exam?